Hi, it's me Leo, back again with another video, and in today's video we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I've whipped out my old SteamDeck. I say old, I've had it for about a year, and I decided to test out Silent Hill 2 to see if you can actually run this game on the SteamDeck. So here we have the 512GB SteamDeck OLED, and I've recently played Silent Hill 2 on the PS5 and I really enjoyed it, and I was curious whether or not this game could actually run on the SteamDeck. Because it's one of those new games that's on Unreal 5 and they're extremely hard to run, and it's not a particularly well optimized game, so I was just wondering whether or not this would actually run on a Steam Deck, because the game itself is actually pretty fun. One thing I do want to say is before you start playing this game, there's one thing you have to do, and you have to head over to settings, then properties, then on general, scroll down to the bottom and put in the launch option SteamDeck equals 0 space %sign command %sign, and make sure to have a capital S on Steam and a capital D on Deck. What this does is this actually unlocks some more graphic settings. So if you don't put in this command, then the game doesn't support HDR and you've only got access to FSR 1, I believe, whereas by putting this command in you've got access to FSR 3.1, which is what I found to be the best way to play this game. So here we go, we're in the game. I've got the FPS counter in the top left corner. So we're going to go to the settings and I'm going to show you what I found to be the best settings to run on the Steam Deck. So you want to keep the resolution at these, 1280 by 800. HDR, you can turn that on, and then we go down, turn ray tracing off because we're not going to be able to run that. I'm going to play this game at an unlocked frame rate just so we can see what sort of FPS we're getting, but I would recommend locking it at 30 FPS. It also has frame generation. It doesn't work particularly well for this game and there's a lot of artifacts, so I probably would avoid using frame generation. So here we go, so the super sampling, so we've got FSR 3.1, so I'd recommend using that. And we've also got XeSS FSR1, so this would be the one that was available if we didn't use the command at the beginning. I would go with the balanced preset because there's not much of a performance hit from going with that over performance, and the quality does look quite a bit better, so we'll keep that on balance. That's my recommendation. And then render quality preset, I would put that on custom or low. I'd probably just put it on custom and then turn everything off basically. Anti-aliasing, keep the resolution at 100%, put everything to low basically, or disabled. Apart from motion blur, I would keep motion blur on because it's quite a cinematic game and it sort of smooths out any frame dips. And there you go, turn everything off. I'd also put sharpening on high. So we'll start off by testing out these graphic settings. This is what I recommend. So here we are, we're at the start of the game, which is arguably the most intensive part of the game, so you're going to be having the lowest frames per second in this starting segment of the game. So as you can see, we're getting around 25 to 21 FPS, dipping down to 17 FPS. So it's not particularly playable, but I would say, sort of taking into account this is like the worst that the performance is going to be, I think this is all right. And with the FSR 3.1, the quality doesn't look too bad. I would say that sort of visually this looks fine. Yeah, this is definitely the worst I've seen the performance from my testing. So we're getting around 19, 20 FPS. So as you can see, yeah, so here we're getting around about 23 FPS, 22 FPS. This would probably be a good time to test out the FSR 3 performance mode rather than the balanced mode to see if that actually improves anything. No, I don't think it really does actually. Maybe like 1 or 2 FPS better. But I do notice that the quality is worse, so I'd probably stick to balanced. FSR 3.1 Ultra Performance. See what that looks like. Alright, so we are getting closer to 30 FPS, around 26, 30 FPS. This does feel smoother, but the quality hit is too much. I probably wouldn't play like this. This cutscene is closer to 30 FPS. So for those of you who haven't played Silent Hill 2, about 80% of the game takes place in inside locations, such as hospitals, apartment blocks, and the performance in these areas does tend to be a lot better. So as you can see, we're in sort of a house and we're getting sort of mid 30s, which is definitely playable. So at this point, I probably would just lock the frame rate to 30, and I would expect for the majority of the inside areas, you would be hitting 30 frames per second at least, and the game would definitely be playable at that point. So I'm just going to carry on progressing through the town of Silent Hill, and you can take a look at the frame rate. And it's definitely playable at the moment. We're getting sort of 30, 33 FPS. If you look at the ground, it goes up to 45 FPS. And I would say, yeah, if you want to get this game on the Steam Deck, it definitely is playable. It's not going to be the best experience, but you definitely can run the game and enjoy it. So yeah, hopefully this has been useful. If you're maybe thinking about getting this game for your Steam Deck, I would probably say go for it, but have sort of reasonable expectations. You're going to be running at an unstable 30 frames per second. So anyway, hopefully this video has been useful, and if you do enjoy, be sure to drop us a like, consider subscribing. This is a slightly different sort of video to what I normally make, but I did recently finish playing this game and I was curious whether or not it would run on the Steam Deck, so now we know. I will see everyone in my next video.